Hey everyone on the internet. I just wanted to give you an update on my Australia illustration fundraising campaign. There's been a few articles that have talked about my efforts to fundraise money to support the efforts to combat the Australian bushfires. And I thought I would just since the campaign is sort of wrapping up, I just want to do a little video to talk a little bit about what the process was like, and also give advice for any other artists or anyone who would like to also support charities through their own means, however that may be. So I just donated $3,000 to three different organizations, $1,000 each. It actually worked out really nicely that way because the net profits were very, very close to around 3,000. So I just bumped it up a bit and donated the money. So it feels really great. First of all, I did it about 10 minutes ago. It was Red Cross Australia, Wildlife Victoria, and RSPCA New South Wales. I don't remember what that acronym stands for, but basically the Red Cross supports, well, I think the Red Cross is fairly obvious. They support a lot of different disaster relief efforts in a variety of ways. And the other two organizations are more specifically wildlife oriented. So Wildlife Victoria, I think, is obvious. They help rescue wildlife, and that's the same with RSPCA New South Wales. So those were the three organizations I chose. I know there's other great organizations that I also want to donate to, but I also didn't want it to go too thin. So that's kind of my thinking around that. I was like, it's better to donate larger amounts to fewer organizations, I think. I don't really know, but that's my guess. It seems to make sense in my mind. So yeah, basically I did this illustration, I think the first week of January or the second week of January, sometime around there. It was a Monday, and I did the illustration in one day. I kind of like gave myself this challenge of being like, well, I don't have a ton of time between freelance work, so I'm just going to take this entire day and just spend it on this, and we'll see what happens. So from the beginning of the day, I just started the sketch, and then I kind of developed it and kept working it until I liked the composition that I was doing, which ended up fairly simple. It was just kind of a map of Australia with collaged animals throughout. So very simple concept. I was thinking like what would sell. I really wanted to make sure that it was something that people wanted to buy. It's funny because for my own personal artwork, I rarely think about that so explicitly. Like I never think, what are people going to buy, and I'm going to paint that. It kind of goes against a lot of artists' methodology to think that way and to constantly be working in that kind of mindset. But with this was a time when I was literally thinking like, I want this to sell really well. What is something that is a little more universal? People love animals. I know that. And maybe just, so it was a very simple in concept. I could have been more abstract or, I could have sketched for a lot longer. I could have spent a whole day sketching probably and then done the illustration the next day. But I really wanted to make sure that it was compacted to sort of one day. So I basically finished the illustration around 3 p.m. And then the next 2 hours was basically posting it on all social media, putting it on my website, making sure the shipping was all worked out. And I did all the logistics and the painting in one day. So I was like, I'm just going to do this, and then tomorrow I'll get back to work. It did not turn out to be that way, especially once CBC, the Guelph Mercury, Guelph Today, I think there might be one other that picked it up and posted about it online and in their newspaper for the Guelph Tribune. It just completely blew up beyond what I thought. So I initially printed 15 small prints to start with. I was thinking like I'd probably sell about 15, maybe. And let's see, the final number of prints sold, approximately, because some people didn't pick them up, and then some extra ones did in the last couple of days. So my final count, which is relatively approximate, is 126 small 11 by 14 sizes sold, and 18 giclées, which are the high quality fine art print, which are beautiful. I was so impressed with the quality. By the way, I also got a really great break from a company in Elora called Artography. Really, really great fine art printer, really knows what he's doing. His name's Paul. And he because I was doing a fundraiser, he sold me these amazing quality prints at cost. So thank you, Paul, for that. That was amazing. So between that and all the news coverage and everything, this has really blown up, and I'm really happy and proud and thankful, and it makes me very optimistic about humanity. Temporarily, perhaps, but right now I feel really great that everyone supported this campaign. So thanks so much for everyone who supported. I hope to do more of these potentially from time to time, despite it being far more work than I had imagined, just in the logistics of getting people to pick up prints and shipping other prints and figuring out how to ship giclées, and it was madness, but it was kind of a chaotic, hilarious, fun madness too. I probably did about a week and a half of actual work on this, and I did not think that would be the case, but turns out the logistics were quite a lot to work out too. So for anyone that, any artists that would like to do a similar kind of campaign, I just would like to take a few minutes to talk about some things that I learned from this process. So first of all, the making of the artwork itself, I thought originally that would be the bulk of the time, like I said earlier, and then it would be out of my hands. And I think probably next time I will do something like that, where once you can put it on an online print shop and people can sort of order it themselves, because the management and logistics of arranging all those little details of how people are going to get them take a lot of time. So if you have the time to do that, then that's great. It's probably more fun, honestly, because then you get to meet everyone and they come and tell you their stories about why they're donating, or what, especially in this case, a lot of people had been to Australia or had some kind of personal connection with Australia. So that was neat to hear, and there's so many different stories, and I met so many people from the process, so I really loved it. But it does take a lot of time. So if you are very busy, then just know that if your story does blow up into something, then it's going to take quite a lot of time to kind of just arrange everything and organize yourself. And I had to do multiple print runs on both a large and small print, so there's a few details to arrange. Also, you could have it just be on an online print shop or online shop of some kind if you have a physical material like Etsy, and people can arrange it themselves. At least that's my understanding of it. But alternatively, if you are going to do some kind of pickup thing, where especially locals, if they want to pick up the good, then I would arrange it so that they're not coming, whenever. I work from home. My studio is here, so it was a little disruptive at times when I wouldn't know. After a while, I started getting more organized about when people were going to arrive. There's basically 2 times of the day, noon or 7 p.m. So they could pick one on each day, and then it would at least organize it so that people aren't just showing up whenever, because that was kind of chaos. So yeah, that's one thing that helps reduce your labor and makes it a little bit easier. So I would consider that. Another thing to consider, if you're doing, for example, like something similar to what I did, like an illustrated print, is you could potentially send them the file, especially if it's far away and you don't want to ship it. You could send them the art file and let them print it at their local printer. That's an option. You could also, though, what I found was the easiest for me for shipping was to, my low quality print, my sort of standard size, the 11 by 14, was printed at Staples. So I could just send it to, the Staples has a flat fee of $5 shipping. So that made it a lot easier. If I did it through Canada Post, an 11 by 14 print was technically oversized, so it would cost like $15, which is almost the price of the actual print, just to ship it. So I was like, well, that's not going to work. So the Staples shipping was much easier and completely done through them. So it actually took not very much time at all to arrange all the shipping, because I just uploaded to Staples. I obviously charged it to my MasterCard, but then had a different shipping address, and then you can ship it to people individually. So that was nice. That made it a lot easier for sure. But anyways, if anyone has any questions or they would like to do this kind of campaign on their own, I would be happy to talk to them or answer any questions that anyone might have. But again, thanks everyone for supporting my campaign. It's been really fun, and yeah, I hope to do more of these at some point, because it's very rewarding to be able to give to these charities like this. So thanks so much.